Hi, everybody. Welcome
Hey,
to Gobbledygook. It's a new show for a new year. Producer Erica
uh,
came up with that name. I'm ashamed I didn't think of it myself. We're gonna have a little bit of different format. We're gonna have a few people
Uh-oh.
on, and we're going to bring a couple of one or two topics each, and we're just gonna kind of chat for a while, and none of it will be any consequence whatsoever. I'm James Baxter. I'm here with Next Generation Tom Selleck, Steven Johnson,
wow, thank you. Nice to be here. I
and
always love.
the erroneous BIG, Joe Cabo.
Hello, everyone.
How you guys doing? You having a good week? I know it's only Monday.
Yeah. It's every day's a holiday and every meal's a banquet.
I mean, Monday can set the tone for the whole week, right? So, kind of know right now how the rest of the week's gonna go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my car died at the vet, so I was there for like 2 or 3 hours. But I also just got Breath of the Wild on Switch, so I was just sitting there playing that. So it wasn't that bad,
Oh, all right. Well,
you know.
I mean, it didn't die or anything. Your Switch didn't.
No, it
It's got
didn't.
good battery life.
Better than the car for sure.
Was it the battery?
Yeah, I just didn't. It was stupid. I sat there at the vet for like an hour with the car with the battery running and didn't think about it. So it's all my fault.
Oh, I get you. Okay,
Yeah,
you killed your car. Okay,
I did. Cold blood.
I'm sure Kristen had something to say about that.
Supportive as always.
Well, how about you? How about you, Joe? How are your trials and tribulations going?
Oh, right as rain.
Yeah,
Back to normal life.
good. Yeah, you went to the gym today, right?
Yep,
What'd you
yep.
do at the gym?
It was just as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It was 5 sets of 3 reps of front squats, and then
Nice.
uh for the WOD portion of it, it was 30 cals on a bike, then 30 thrusters, then 30 pull-ups.
The what section?
The WOD section, workout of the day.
WOD.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So we have some classes have strength portions, which the front squats serve as that, and then you have the WOD, which is the workout of the day, which is more aerobic in nature ish, or gymnastic in nature, or some combination thereof.
You know,
Sometimes.
Steven and I were talking about that a while back. During this, time of being stuck in your house all the time or whatever, people have come up with different ways to stay in shape, right, in their house. Steven, you were talking about kettlebells.
Yeah.
Doing things like Steven is a jiu-jitsu master. I didn't know if you knew that. Joe Cabo.
Ooh.
Master
But
of jiu-jitsu.
unfortunately, I've lost a year of the prime of my life for jujitsu training. Haven't been able to do it since March.
No. Well,
Really?
the problem with many martial arts, especially jiu-jitsu, is that it entails grabbing onto sweaty guys. And
Yeah.
of course, we can't do that right now. So
It's all about holding their face really close to your face. And it's just, you can't do that anymore.
That does make it kind of difficult with social distancing.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you're doing kettlebells at home, right?
Mhm.
And I have been upping my whiskey intake. So it evens out at the end of the day.
Right. Your liver is getting a workout.
I'm just as healthy as Steven, if not more.
Yeah. You can tell it's working
Yeah.
because the bottle gets easier to lift the more you
Mhm.
drink.
I've been vaccinating my stomach and my liver is what I've been doing.
At least it's inoculated.
As long as you feel good.
See, I like my gym. They have these tape squares that like you have to work out in that area that you're properly distanced away from folks, and you got to come in wearing a mask and get temperature checks and everything. So they've taken good precautions, and they also keep like these big bay doors open so airflow
That's good.
stays
good.
going through. It's good, except when it's like 30 degrees and they still have those doors open.
Wouldn't that be good though while you're working out? I mean,
it gets good after you warm up. It is terrible warming up. It builds character.
Well, that's what last year was all about, was building character, right?
That's right.
Not this year.
This year we'll be playing those characters.
I'm not going to build any character this year. Nice D&D segue, Steven.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Like we planned that or something.
That was nice. Did you?
Are we
Steve?
becoming professionals?
No. No. Perish the thought. So, Steven, speaking of being professional, Joe Cabo.
Yes, James.
Did you have a topic that you wanted to breach tonight?
Oh,
our super professional talk show that we have.
That would be great, because I think Morgan's about a minute away from quitting in the chat if we don't start talking about
She's always a minute away from quitting in the chat.
RPGs.
Woo! Shots fired. Shots fired. Bang.
Right. That's right. Morgan.
Yeah, I have a topic. I prepared for this show like a professional.
Well,
Maybe even more than one topic. We'll see. Let me formulate my question here. So what I wanted to ask you guys about, because it's something I always dream about and come up with, are like weird and wacky one-shot or campaign ideas. I love the format of the one-shot for just going off the rails and thinking outside the box. So what are some like weird one-shots that you would actually like to run or play in? Do you have any like ideas for it?
I have an answer for that, but I don't think Joe Cabo ever thinks outside the box. Yeah, he likes to stay inside his box with all his crunchy rules, crunchy Pathfinder rules inside his box, And the box gets a little bigger the more splat books they put out, and there's hundreds. But he rules is written, right, Joe Cabo?
That's right. That's right. Give me that crunch.
You step outside those rules as TBK, Steven. As far as Joe Cabo is concerned.
No. It's TBK in the rules. I love the purity of it. That means I get the cleanest of kills. It's by the book.
Okay, well, I have an example. A few years ago, in the before 4 time, I did a Halloween one shot with we had like 8 people showed up for that. 8 players. And the idea was that everybody was a halfling. Okay, everybody was a halfling, and you were in a little halfling town. And the river had dried up. And the animals got sick, and they blamed a witch, right? So they were gonna go get the witch. That's the premise of the one shot, right? And so they're all halflings from the same town. But what we did was, and this is where it all fell apart, was it didn't fall apart completely, but nobody had a class before we started. They're all level 1, and the first thing we did was roll stats. And the stats determined what basic class they would have, right? Because you're a farmer, or you're milking cows, you're not studying the blade or whatever, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
So it was to see what you're good at, right? And then as far as equipment goes, I made up a little note cards. I wrote down 6 or 7 things on each card and numbered them, and they rolled a die to see which card they got, right, for equipment. So the idea was they all went back to their houses to see what they could find, right? You might have the lid of a barrel, that would be a shield, or a pitchfork, or, as a weapon. There was a couple swords and bows and stuff laying around too, that was the idea. So the first 30 minutes to an hour of it was just figuring out what class they were and getting equipment together. And then they go off to get to the witch. And yes, Joe, I did TPK them at the end of that. It was their fault. It wasn't my fault.
That's great. I'm fully in support of that.
Yeah, it was their
that's amazing.
And I had that idea of like nobody knows what class they are. It wasn't an amnesia thing. It's just that they were farmers and they hadn't adventured before, right? So, but they didn't know what class they were, so we rolled stats, and we did it the old school way, 3d6 in order, right? So, each stat in order with a 3d6. That's how we did it. You know, it's a one shot, right? You're tethered to this character for 4 or 5 hours tops, right? So
yeah,
have fun with it. You know, if your guy gets a 3 in intelligence, roll with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it turned out okay, except for the TPK at the end.
That's the difficulty of those like wacky ideas, right? Is that it always sounds so good in your head, but do you think it translated well to the party? Did people enjoy it as much as as you did?
They seemed to, but we were all drinking a lot.
Yeah,
so it's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think that part of it was probably the best part of it. The plot was okay. You know, they go up the dried up river, and there was an evil pumpkin patch. You know, aberrant pumpkins, and then they made it all the way up to the top, and a witch, a sorcerer, right, had built a soda factory and diverted their river to turn her water wheel. Is what it was. So it was about the evils of capitalism in the end,
dastardly.
Right? Mm-hmm. So I think it went okay. But even if it didn't, it was a one shot. You know, you can try crazy stuff.
Yeah.
What about you, Joe?
What
kind of crazy one shot would you do?
What kind of crazy one shot would I do? Oh, I would like to probably design a higher level one shot around a really cool monster that you don't necessarily get to play against that much.
Okay.
And then really think about like the environmental effects too. Not just like, you know, whether it's like, is this going to be flying dominated, or like, is it going to be set like in a volcano? So everyone has to worry about lava and bursts of lava and everything. Like, you know, I'd want to design the encounter to be all encompassing.
That sounds interesting. What kind of monster? You mean like do they have Tarrasque in Pathfinder, or is that Wizard of the Coast property?
Do they have Tarrasque in Pathfinder?
They don't have mind flayers.
Well, they're there just by a different name and change.
Yeah, I know. Some of the monsters in D&D, like I guess they weren't allowed to use them in Pathfinder. No.
Yeah.
There are a few, you know. So I don't know if Tarrasque was one of them.
But no, you know, like a Jabberwock is something that I'd throw at players. It's not something that they run into every day.
No, they don't.
Yeah. Oh no, there's a lot of cool you know, as the systems age, they put out a bunch more monster manuals or bestiaries, and there's a lot more to play with. So or you could even go if you're doing Pathfinder first edition, you can even go the mythic route and throw some demon lords in there, because that gets a lot of fun.
You mean 3.5?
Huh?
You mean 3.5? When you say Pathfinder first edition.
That's 3.75.
What about you, Steven? What would you do for a... I can't wait to hear this. I bet you got all kinds of crazy ideas.
You know, I don't have anything like loaded in the bank. I just your halfling idea is something I love, because I've always wanted to do, and I don't know why I haven't. It just hasn't come up, or No, I don't think I've ever even written it, but I've always wanted to do a one shot where everyone was barbarians, and you're a gang of barbarians roving the countryside, hopefully doing good. You know, maybe we'd fight another rival gang of barbarians, and everybody's got their own little subclass.
Fury
Whatever.
Road is what you're writing.
Yeah,
Fury Road. Yeah,
just a
that would be
lot of, like,
awesome. Yeah.
screaming and grunting all night.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah,
in
I'd
a
play
rage.
something like that.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
like the all happening idea. I think that, you know, D&D is a system, or 5e, that works well with you know, you can get away without a good party comp if you don't have a healer, or if you don't have a sneaky person, then you can make it through. So I think anything where it's just you throw the idea of party comp out of the window,
Yeah.
I think sounds like a blast.
I mean,
also love
I really like the whole, you know, everybody's first level and you don't know what your class is because you're a fucking farmer. But I don't know. I think some of the mechanics should have been worked out a little better for that. But I did my best.
that's another idea that I had written down, was a all commoner D&D party, because I think I remember seeing a homebrew somewhere that was very good for just commoner stat block. You know, 4 health, and you're basically level 0, and they have to fight like one skeleton in the woods or something, or a basement full of rats that is a total party kill.
That's a funny idea.
Yeah.
Or a Medusa or a Tarrasque or something. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I always love
for.
to plan a one shot. I feel like my first thing is, what movie have I seen recently that I could steal the plot of? And I always love getting silly that way. And then also just flipping through the monster manual or any of the expansion stuff. You find one cool thing and you're like, there it is. This angel. We're going to fight this angel because these people have done something wrong. And I love that.
Yeah, sometimes that's how I'll like figure out what a session's going to be. Flip it through the monster manual and see what's crazy in there. I've gotten a few. D&D doesn't have a lot of splat books, but there have. But there's a whole bunch of homebrew stuff that you can find on D&D Beyond, and some of it's crap. Okay, most of it's crap, but if you are on PC, you can filter by reviews that people have given them, and you can find some pretty cool stuff on there. So,
they need to expand the functionality to give class levels to monsters.
Well, they do they use the CR rating,
right? But like they need to be able to give class levels as well.
I mean, CR doesn't mean a whole lot. You got. We were talking about this around Halloween. You know, you've got the brain with legs, the intellect devour. It's a CR2, and you could totally wipe a party with it accidentally. Of level 5 people, you know. There's a couple of fights in Dragon Heist, and you know, dice rolls don't go right. Who knows what's gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? It's only a CR2, but you got something like a Tarrasque, which is CR30, and we had one of those in our homebrew campaign a few weeks ago. Party was level. What level were they, Joe? 16?
Yeah, 16, 17.
Like 5 people?
Yep.
Level 16, took out a Tarrasque, wasn't that big a deal, you know? Wow. Didn't really take any. I mean, I told them to plan for it. I told them the week ahead of time that they were going to fight a Tarrasque and they could, you know, get tactical with it and stuff, and they did.
Go to the library.
I mean, if I surprised them with it, maybe it would have been a little different, but so CR doesn't really mean a whole lot, so maybe it would help to narrow that down a little bit. I don't know. You seen a dire Tarrasque? There's stats for that out there, Joe.
I have seen the dire Tarrasque.
The zombie Tarrasque, or
I haven't seen that one.
There's all kinds of Tarrasques out there. Because what do you do with a high level party, you know? Like I said, you know, there's like 5 of you level 16. What do you do when you get up to 18, 19? Here comes 7 Tarrasques after you. You know, and what do? You know, you just throw more Tarrasques at them.
That's why the Tarrasque needs to get some class levels in like fighter or something.
Yeah.
Rogue Tarrasque.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do when you got that high level party? How do you know?
That'd be awesome. It's so big, it wraps around, it flanks with itself.
That's what I'm going to do, Steven. I'm going to take your idea. I'm going to have the party fight a single skeleton in the woods.
Yeah.
At level 18 or whatever they're at now. I think they're at 18. Level 18, they're in the woods. A skeleton approaches you. What do you do? CR1 skeleton. Are they even a 1? I think they're like 1/2 or something. So you don't have any wacky ideas for one-shots there, Joe Cabo?
There is I do want to do a one-shot where everyone plays in Pathfinder Inquisitors, but they play different types of Inquisitors, and it'll be limited to four people, and they will have to make them in the style of Ninja Turtles and do a Ninja Turtle themed one-shot adventure. Because
and you're gonna do it in 5e?
No, Pathfinder. No. Why would I do that? There's so much more versatility for Inquisitors in Pathfinder.
They don't have Inquisitors in 5e.
Yeah.
What do you think the closest class in 5e would be?
Ooh.
I think it would be like a. It's kind of like a cleric, right? Or is it more like a rogue?
It's
like in between a cleric and a rogue somewhere.
It's more of a hunter and a cleric. Is because you're like really good at tracking, identifying things.
Yeah.
But then you're also, you got access to divine spells. But like there's enough variation with Inquisitors that you can like specialize in ranged or up close combat or whatnot, be more spell casting heavy. That's why I think that it'd just be fun to play with that, and each Ninja Turtle is a variant of that.
Well, you do hear about one shots a lot where everybody's a rogue or everybody's a cleric or everybody's a fighter. I think cleric will give you in 5e anyway. Cleric will give you the most options for individual character. You could have 5 clerics and they're all completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's probably the most variety for clerics over any of the other classes, in my opinion. Except maybe the fighter, but the fighter is more like most of his stuff is flavored. I'm a dual wielder from okay, but you still have a sword. You know what I mean? Like you're not casting one kind of magic over another. I think cleric is probably the most variety. But you do hear about that. Back in the before 4 time, I would go to things occasionally. Like I went to a Adventures League one shot called Invasion of the Tarrasques. So what do you do when they're level 20? And a Tarrasque is not that big a deal. 2 Tarrasques. They kill those 2. What do you do? 3 Tarrasques, right? And that's what that was. It was everybody had to create a level 20 character. And it went on for like 8 hours too.
Wow.
It wasn't all combat. They had some neat stuff in there too, but it went on it was an 8-hour thing. And you brought a level 20 character that you created from scratch, and you basically fought Tarrasque all day. It was a good time.
Went to the elemental plane of Tarrasques.
Something like that, or they were coming this way, yeah. It was a pretty good time. Paige Light and Ben Heisler were there for that.
Have you ever heard of cheese grinder at cons?
Heard of a meat grinder?
So there's this event that has gone on at Dragon Con, and I think maybe Gen Con,
Mm-hmm.
called Cheese Grinder, where this person spends all year developing different rooms, and he has a website, or I don't know if he's still active or not. Like I remember getting involved in this a while ago, but he put up a website of rules of here's all the things that you can do to build your character. There was a point buy limit. There was, if you wanted to do a monster with class levels, you'd have to take into account their CR as being a monster and factor that into the level. I think he if you didn't choose a monster, like you got to be a level 11 character or something of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Puts a cap on it. But he creates all these different rooms, and you sign up to sit down, and you play at whatever point is going on, and he would run it throughout the majority of the con, and he would just cycle through. As soon as someone died, the next person could come in with their built character and pick up from there. And he gave out awards based on like who lasted the longest sitting at the table. I think there was one award for like the most creative character design or something. It was really cool. But like he he made every room a different challenge. So
Okay, so if you wanted to do something like that at home, you want to condense that down to like a 4-hour kind of thing, or maybe a 6-hour kind of thing. You could be a DM who is sadistic, like Joe Cabo, and you could design a challenge as probably, I mean, not ridiculous, like you walk in and rocks fall on you, that kind of stuff, but possibly able to overcome, but probably not, as far as monsters and things, and just have people bring several different character sheets with them and give out a prize for whichever character lasted the longest. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Like dodgeball with Orb of Annihilation. You'll get rid of the character pretty fast.
You can dodge an orb, you can dodge an orb. Yeah.
I have a question based on this discussion. So, what is your ultimate sweet spot for how long you like your sessions to go? You like 4 hours? You like longer?
Well, it depends.
8-hour sessions? Like what? As a DM, like what's your sweet spot?
As a DM, I don't have a lot of stamina compared to some people. I think 4 hours is about as long as I want to go. I can do 6 if we're having a great time and it just kind of ran long. You know what I mean? But I'm going to plan for 4. Mm-hmm. Last year at Dragon Con, I ran the Epic Adventures League, and that was a lot of work. That's probably the most of that's the only time that's the most I've prepped for one session, and I had 7 players. It was Adventures League, so I had 7 players, and we ran a game that lasted 8 hours.
Wow.
With a 2-hour dinner break in between, and it was all day long on Saturday. And we had plans afterward. No, man, I just collapsed in the hotel room. I was out. It was a lot. Of course, if you're DMing for people you don't necessarily know, and you feel like, okay, this is for a con, I gotta really, you know what I mean, I gotta pull myself up by the bootstraps or whatever, then you feel a little more pressure than you would at a home game. But I think 4 hours is generally my limit. Generally on stream, definitely 4 hours is my limit. After 4 hours, I'm just completely wiped if we're streaming. Somehow we pulled it together for that 24-hour thing we did last November. But I wasn't DMing the whole thing. I only had to DM for like, I don't know, it's probably 5 hours that I was DMing, maybe 6. but a lot of
Yeah.
that was just filler. So like it wasn't, I wasn't DMing that whole time. So playing, I can go longer as long as I get a break every now and then.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had that. Well, maybe you haven't. I mean, you ever been in a class that lasted all day, like a work thing? You ever had a teacher that just didn't send you on break when they were supposed to? And your back teeth are floating and you're dying of thirst and they're just rambling on up front. It's like, you got to give people breaks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why when I'm streaming, I'm like, every hour or so, we'll take a 10 just to get water and walk around and stretch, But yeah, I don't have the mental stamina anymore to go more than that. What about you? How long you probably do 24 hours all the time?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, but I do miss like having a 8 to 10 hour session.
You're probably DMing on your other computer screen right now, aren't you?
Yep. No.
You got Roll20 up on the other screen right now. You're DMing. You're doing Blades in the Dark on the other screen, aren't you?
I no. But I like those to be in person. Like if it's remote digital, 4 or 5 hours is all I want to do. But like those 8 to 10 hour sessions, I like we usually start early, get lunch, have some downtime there, play more, then all order dinner, kind of just like a all day thing. I miss those. I hope those return by the end of 2021.
Yeah, because I think there's a huge difference in stamina doing it staring at your computer screen and not really being around anybody. It's like going to a movie theater. I can sit and watch a 3-hour movie in a movie theater, but if I try to watch The Irishman on Netflix at home, I just don't have that same drive. And yeah, it's the same with D&D for me. I really miss those long sessions. Probably one of the last ones I played in person was we did I ran the Death House from Curse of Strahd with James, and I mean that was
fun.
Easy, like 6 to 8 hours, right? And it felt it's just a breeze.
Is that how long that was?
It took a while, it was like some first time players, and I think we did like a real start to finish enclosed story with that, so it took a bit.
Oh. Yeah, it didn't feel that long. I was thinking it was more like 3 or 4 hours, but
we had a karaoke.
You would
break
know better than me. Yeah, that's true. There was a karaoke break. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, it wasn't, and yeah, it was awesome. Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah,
I mean, I love karaoke. That sounds taking a break to do some karaoke. That
was professional amazing. Karaoke too. Steven hired a DJ. And there was like a knock on right when Steven was like, "Okay, let's take a little dinner break." There's a knock on the door. There's a guy rolling the thing in,
Yeah, karaoke and in-person D&D might be my two biggest, things that I miss over the last year.
It's coming back. This won't be permanent, I hope. Although I've never played more D&D since this whole thing started. Not even just because of Neon Goblin, but everybody started up a game because they didn't have anything else to do. They're stuck in their houses, and everybody was like, "Hey, there's this Roll20 thing that we could do."
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this year I've played so much friggin' D&D. It's been amazing.
Well, that leads
only some of which has been televised on Twitch. A lot of it was just me sitting here, on Zoom.
Imagine all that content that people are missing.
I know.
They could be hearing you every day, James.
Like Alden's doing a game, and Alex is doing a game, and I'm doing a game that's not on Twitch, and there's just so many games. But not everybody wants to be. Sometimes you want to relax. You want to be on.
Yep.
So, like our Friday game is where we do whatever. It is a silly game, right, Joe?
Very much so.
Right.
Very much so.
They're on a mission to to kill Asmodeus at the moment.
And save the multiverse.
I don't think it's gonna work, but I don't know. Who knows?
I
don't know.
The GM doesn't think it's gonna work. So
Maybe it will. I don't know.
You
know?
That's it's not the vote of confidence I was looking for there.
I mean, whether the plan will work or not, maybe. Well, I don't think you can kill Asmodeus. That's not exactly the plan, though. I'm just exaggerating a little bit.
I mean,
but they're level 18. This game's been going on for a year and a half. There is no support for high level D&D from Wizards of the Coast. Okay, they put the Tarrasque in the monster manual, and that was it. There's no published material for above level 15. It may be Mad Mage. There's a couple of levels in Mad Mage that are like that, but that's it. Everything starts at level 1 or level 5, and it goes on to like level 10. And that's it. Because most people get to level 10 and they, start a new game. But maybe that's because there's no published material. So I just make it up as I go along from we do. I do have a topic I wanted to talk about, Joe Cobb.
Oh, really?
A topic.
Ooh.
I bought a book that just came in today.
The physical copy.
Yeah, I got
not digital, not on your Kindle. You bought a real physical book.
Right.
Wow.
It's called Heroes Feast,
the
official D&D cookbook. Look at that, Joe Cabo. Feast your eyes.
I almost bought that the other day.
I was looking through it today, and it is really well done. I got this for $15.99 online.
Wow.
The only gripe I have, if I had a gripe at all, is that it's not exactly the same size as, D&D rule books and stuff, like the Player's Handbook or whatever. Other than that, it's a very well-made book. It's got a ton of recipes in here. There's like 4 different ways to make pot roast. Different places in the book. A lot of interesting things that you wouldn't think about making, it's just, I don't know. And most of it sounds pretty good.
I actually made, so I was doing some shopping the other day online, as you do. And Amazon gives you the previews for the book. And I was just scrolling through it. And I ended up I recently fell into a lot of salmon. So I've had a lot of fish to cook. Just one of those things that happens. So I made a salmon recipe from that book from the preview, and it was fantastic.
Oh, I saw that one.
So I need to actually buy the book now that I've used it.
It's in the Elven section.
So James, the important follow-up question of this is, when are you gonna cook me a meal from? That's really what I want to know. Now that you've bought it, now it's time for you to use it.
That really depends on our vaccine distribution system. Apparently, there have been some kinks.
The news.
Yeah, I mean, nobody could foresee that happening.
You could start shipping out meat pies. I would take a meat pie in the mail.
I don't know. You didn't. You left your dice tray at the front desk for like 4 or 5I days, so I don't know if a meat pie would make it.
Just for the record, it was the U.S. Postal Service that delayed it. I checked. It was not in my possession.
See, I have a projected 3 months of immunity now that I've gone through it. So, you don't have to wait for vaccine distribution to feed me.
I've been getting tested weekly.
Feed me.
I get one again. Maybe tomorrow. Done.
You get nose calluses yet?
Not yet.
Nose calluses.
Not yet, but my eyes water every time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's not something to get used to.
Do they make you do it yourself, or do you have someone?
Yep. And the first time I got one done, they held the Q-tip in a certain spot, and they were like, grab it right here, stick it up your nose until you hit your fingers, right? But they stopped doing that. So I grab it like where I think it should be, and then I go a little further. I'm probably sticking it way too far up there, but I want to make sure, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to like just wipe it around the inside of my nostril and like test negative when I was actually you know what I mean? So I want to get it up in there. So my eyes are just like running.
Well, if you stick it up far enough, if it touches the brain, you can get an IQ test and a COVID test at the same time. They can.
Well, that would just be IQ test failed, wouldn't it?
No, yeah. Come back negative. It'd come back negative.
Your IQ test is negative. Sorry, right, Mr. Baxter.
What's a good recipe you got in there, James?
Well, they've got your usual, you know, there's a dwarven shepherd's pie in here. They've got sausages with sauerkraut and mustard, that kind of stuff, you know. But there are a few different interesting things in here, like elven bread.
You make some limbus bread.
There's a picture of elven bread.
Ooh.
And it's not it's kind of sweet. It's got cardamom in it. And cinnamon. So it sounds interesting. Everything in here sounds interesting. It makes me want to buy some wooden bowls to eat my beef stew from that I made out of the D&D cookbook, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you have a cookbook collection or just a D&D book collection, this is definitely a good buy. Even if you never make anything out of here, it's pretty interesting just to read.
Yeah, I like the recommendation. I'll probably grab that.
Halflings are big on cheese.
Of course.
Ooh, stuffed egg battered toast. Chicken something dumplings. Hogs and bedroll. See, even the recipes sound like something a halfling would come up with. Melted cheeses with chunky tomato broth. Mmm. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to make something out of here. Steven, if you happen to be in town anytime soon or later, you know, you're welcome to come by. I don't know about you, Joe.
Yeah,
I still got to think about it.
Wow.
Think about it. I don't know. Wow. Maybe if you bring a nice bottle of whiskey with you. Daddy needs his medicine.
I see how it is.
So the last thing I wanted to talk about was what we were going to be doing in 2021, or our plan so far anyway, with Neon Goblin. We're not going to go away, I don't think. I think we're going to keep doing it. I gave up on getting tons of followers, all that kind of stuff a while back. I never really had the idea that I was going to get a ton of followers or anything like that, but I realized that this is for us anyway. We're really just doing this for fun. It doesn't matter if we're not spending any money, so we don't need to make any money. You know what I mean? So, we're gonna keep doing what we do, which is a bunch of random stuff. Whatever happens to strike our fancy at the moment. This Wednesday, we're gonna be doing Frigophobia. We're going to continue doing that on Wednesdays. And now that the holidays are over, hopefully we'll be a little more consistent with a lot of our games, like Frigophobia, the Hottest Club in Waterdeep, which is on Thursday. Entropy is on Sunday. And I really want to start up a new game when either our home game ends or Entropy does, because Entropy is not going to go forever, Joe. Not. I know you want it to.
I do.
It's not going to go forever. It does have an end point. And when it ends, I want to do a Cyberpunk game. And either Cyberpunk 2020 or Cyberpunk Red. One of the two. Because I just like it a lot.
Have you been playing Cyberpunk 2077?
I have put many hours into that over the holidays. When we weren't on stream doing D&D, that's what I was doing. I was playing Cyberpunk 2077, and I love that game. And I played Cyberpunk 2020 back in the day. Mid-90s, I guess. Back when, like before Steven was born.
Wow.
And, he was born in the early 90s, Joe. And,
We'll go with that.
He wasn't born 1,000 years ago like you. What? Everybody knows you're immortal.
I am immortal. So far, so good.
Joe Cabo.
Everyone knows that you're the Comte de Saint Germain.
I've lived forever. So far, so good.
Yeah. So, I'd like to do a cyberpunk game. I mean, just this week we're doing this tonight. We're doing Frigophobia on Wednesday. We're doing the Hottest Club on Thursday. Friday we're doing my home game here, as far as I know. And then Saturday we might be doing a class warfare. I'd like to bring that back. That was a fun thing to do.
That was a blast.
You want to join us with that one, Joe?
Let's see, Saturday?
Yeah.
Potentially.
I don't know what time yet. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
But the idea is we get 6 player. I'll just DM it. We were trying to do a thing where whoever won the last one DMs the next one, but scheduling, you know. So I'll just DM the next one. We'll get 6 people together that want to play, and you get randomly assigned a class the day before or the day before that, and you build. We'll probably do either level 5 or level 10, and you build the strongest character of that class that you can. Like, the class is assigned to you, but subclass and all that kind of, and race and all that's all up to you. So you can min-max to your heart's content, and we see which class comes up on top in a battle royale. So
We'll have to do a one day when we've done enough class warfares. We'll have to do a multi-class warfare.
oh no,
Get 2 classes and see, you know,
and then 3
is the
classes.
rogue wizard.
And then
gonna
20
be-
classes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that, Steven, that's not a bad idea. Because you could get randomly assigned 2 classes they had to multi-class together.
Mm-hmm.
Like Barbarian and Wizard.
Yeah.
Or
See how the fighter warlock does.
we might do that next time. That's a really good idea.
But you'll have to give me producer credit on it.
Okay. Nobody gets any credit for anything, but okay. Got it. You got it. If that
The rules are made up and the points don't matter.
If that episode makes enough money on Twitch where we actually get paid out something, then I will make sure you get most.
That's good, because this is all going on my resume anyway.
Can we just take a screenshot? You can put that on your resume.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't know. You should see our background we have now. I don't know if you have Twitch up or not, Steven. I think you do actually, right? Yeah.
I did. Yeah, it's a very appealing.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff in 2021 on Neon Goblin, and we're gonna drag Joe Cabo kicking and screaming through the whole year.
Yes. No.
Steven's gonna be our heart and soul here.
The idea is good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if you should have any topics that you were interested in hearing about us ramble on, then feel free to put them in the chat here on Twitch or email them to us, neongoblin.dnd@gmail.com. Or you could DM us here on Twitter or on Twitter. Yes, it's at Goblin Neon on Twitter. Or you can DM us here on Twitch. Any way you want. If you got something you want to hear Joe Cabo ramble about.
Oh, I can ramble.
Let us know.
Just give me the topic and I'll go.
Eventually, I'll get you to admit that 5e is more accessible than Pathfinder.
Ooh.
You know, that was my next topic too. So we'll have to do another one of these. I wanted to talk about some other systems.
We have we're one day gonna put together a debate style format. You know, I've actually been working on. I have a Word document.
Oh, I bet you do.
I've been cataloging all my points.
That makes so much sense. I don't need a Word document, Joe.
Oh yeah?
No, I got my heart to listen to.
Oh yeah.
Right. And notice I didn't say 5e was better. I said it was more accessible.
You know what? That's the one thing about D&D 5e you can't beat is community engagement. It's it's where everybody is.
I mean, I could easily jump into this debate with you right now, Joe Cabo, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna refrain.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm gonna refrain. Everybody's got work tomorrow.
The battle lines are drawn.
Everybody's got work tomorrow, whether they're working from home or they got to go somewhere. So I will refrain for now.
For now.
I don't want to show you all my cards. So, those of you in the chat, thank you for watching our first episode of Gobbledygook. I love the name.
It's so good.
Because it starts with gob, like goblin. Har har. And, actually producer Erica came up with the name because she had this idea for a fake cooking show that we might make. You know how we used to make fake ads for our podcasts. I had such a great time doing that. And she had an idea for a D&D themed cooking show. This is before this book ever showed up, by the way. She just came up with that independently of this. And she was going to call it Gobbledygook. And I was like, why didn't I think of that for the talk show, That's exactly what we're doing. It's all gobbledygook. It's balderdash.
Mm-hmm.
So I stole it. She said it was okay.
That's great. You can still use gobbledygook too.
That's the plan.
Okay.
That's the plan. We'll just build on, all the way up to balderdash and mumbo jumbo after that. All right. Well, thank you for coming, Steven. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Joe Cabo. It was something.
Yep. That it was.
And we'll see you whenever we happen to do this again. We'll see you next time. It'll probably be me with somebody else. Hopefully Steven and Joe come back again. But if not, it could be Alden. It could be anybody. Could be anybody. So maybe not even me. Maybe I'll just stream it and let you guys fight over Pathfinder and D&D. I don't even want to get involved. Let you guys do it.
I see you backing out now, huh?
No, I'm not backing out. I just know it's futile.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's futile. You're like, I don't even want to say what you're like arguing with. I don't even want to say.
Oh, really?
But I think you know what I would say if I said it.
I'm a right honorable gentleman to argue with.
Sure.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to find out.
Maybe we'll set that up. We'll have podiums. I get the blue tie.
Yeah.
You get the red tie.
That's fine. I'm red's the power tie.
Yeah, it was real powerful. Never mind. This is Gobbledygook. We don't talk about anything of consequence. Nothing of consequence. That's the
I'll refer to you as my
shtick.
I'll go British on you and refer to you as my right honorable friend.
Oh, don't do that. Anyhow, thank you for coming, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye, everyone.